Good morning. It's 7:30 on a Tuesday. Wanted to come on and chat with you for a real quick moment and tell you about my high conflict co-parenting course that's getting ready to come out. Sorry, I'm doing like housekeeping around here. Um, I just wanted to chat with you a little bit about the importance of it. So, I started this whole process of like helping people because I was dealing with high conflict and wasn't really aware of it. I just thought I had somebody that, didn't like me, didn't wanna work with me. I didn't really know what all the, like, the new terms are of gray rocking and, high conflict and, high conflict personalities, and I didn't know what any of that meant. And so, I jumped into my divorce thinking that we were gonna have this awesome co-parenting relationship, and we did not. It was very heated from the word go. It was not easy. There's a lot of conflict early on and throughout for years. And so my kids were really, struggling with it because we did every other day, 50-50. And then some things happened later in the years, and I had sole custody. And then dad worked his time back in. And it was just always difficult. There was never a time where I was like, man, this is what's best for kids. Look at us co-parent. Look at us get along. Look at us helping each other's houses. Look at us giving advice of like, hey, I noticed this about this kid, and hey, this kid's struggling. Could you pick up the slack over here and help me out? And yes, absolutely. No, my journey was never like that. Um, and so throughout the years with my kids being in counseling, they had a child psychologist that did play therapy with them that was just phenomenal. And I was in therapy, and my therapist was phenomenal after I switched quite a few times till I found somebody that actually talked to me and didn't just sit there and collect money. And it was like I learned so many good things from these people that I just thought, why is this a secret? Why do I have to pay you 275 an hour to know this? This should be skills and things that help all parents. These should be things that every parent should be equipped with because these are children involved in these stories. Like, this isn't like if people don't get the services or the skills, like kids are struggling. So, trial and error, I have come up with different strategies to help parents. And I came up with this course idea because I just felt like there were so many tips and tricks that I was giving people in consults that needed to be heard by more people. Now, this course is roughly, I believe, 8 to 10 hours worth of content. I haven't totaled it up yet, but it's 8 to 10 hours worth of content. I think higher on the 10 side because every video, and there's is between 7 minutes to 27 minutes. And there are, I believe, 35 videos so far. So it rolls out on Monday. And I'm super nervous about it because I've already realized I'm going to be adding more and more videos to it because I'm getting more and more requests of special circumstances. So, how I'm going to work it is this. I'm going to put it out on Monday, but then if you purchase it, you're going to have access to it forever. I'm not going to take it away from you, but I'm just going to keep adding videos to it. And every time I add a video, I will just send a note out to those that have purchased, and you'll just be like, hey, there's a new video out. Go watch it. So, it's going to be the gift that keeps on giving because I still fall into reading a podcast or listening to a podcast or reading a book, or I give a tool to some client and she comes back and she or he says, that worked. You need to share that with everybody. That fucking worked. Like yesterday, we were giving a training in the next chapter, and I was giving a training about one thing. And then it slowly triggered me to remember a discipline thing that I was taught by a psychologist. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to share this. And I'll share that one with you now because this is how important it is. When you are of divorce, I think it's really important for you to understand that your relationship with your child is only built on a certain amount of time, right? It's built on a Wednesday and every other weekend. It's built on 50-50. It's built on, a couple days a week or majority of the time, and you lose your kids only for a couple days. Whatever it is, your relationship with your kids is based around a fucking schedule. And so if you fly off the handle with discipline, which I did for many years because I was an emotional wreck and I was, not right with myself and therefore punishing everybody around me, kids included. And I was raised in a screamer, household where you just screamed and authoritative household like most of us that are in their 40s were raised, we got spanked and all those things. And I knew that I couldn't do that. Like once you get divorced, you can't lay your hands on your kids, you can't spank your kids, and you just become a screamer, right? And I quickly realized through the help of the psychologist and mine that I was only going to hurt my relationship with my kids if I continued that because I only had them 50% of the time at the beginning. And so having these different ideas on how to discipline and really recognizing, and hear me clearly, recognizing that you are probably over yelling at your kids or over disciplining your kids because you're not right. You're just not right. And so you're emotional, you're triggered, you're traumatized, you're worried, you're angry, you're anxious, and you're just a screamer. I was that person. And so when we fly off the handle and we say, you're grounded for a week and you lose your phone for a week and no TV for the rest of the week or go to your room and we punish these kids over dramatically because we're triggered and we're angry and we're bitter and we're sad and frustrated. That only hurts our relationship with our kid. Now, I'm not saying, and you will never hear me say, don't punish your kids and don't discipline your kids, because after teaching for 15 years, I can tell you I had some of the worst of worst kids in our community, and they thrived because I was consistent with discipline. So, but I was also consistent with reward. And that's what I want to get to. I want you to set yourself up for success with your kid. I want you to implement some kind of reward system right now, today, this week. Whether it's a reward of extra iPad time or extra stay up time or an extra snack or an extra ability to do something or an extra this, give them something extra. And when they screw up, I don't want you to punish them. I want you to take away their extra. So every day when they wake up, kiddo, instead of going to bed at 8, you're at 8:15. You get to stay up 15 minutes extra tonight. Now, each time they fuck around and find out, when they get home from school, they lose that time. Now, I'm not going to be dramatic and say you lose all 15 minutes unless maybe they lit the house on fire. But I'm going to say every time they fight with their sibling or every time they have an argument or every time they sass me, I'm going to be like, oh, cool. 5 minutes gone. Now you're at 8:10. Oh, shit. 8:05. And I'm telling you, as somebody that implemented this when my kids were very young, I just had to change the reward as they grew up. And every time I would say, remember when you wanted to have a sleepover this weekend? Yeah. As of right now, that's not working out. You're going to have to earn that back. And again, I'm not saying go to bed at 7:30 because that was the angry, screaming mom that I was. Fine, you're going to bed at 7:30. Or I'd say, turn the TV off the rest of the night. Well, now when I needed to work my second job or when I needed to do something, I had to entertain my kids too because I took away the TV or I took away an iPad or I took away something. So we have to stop and think, number one, am I emotionally overreacting? Number two, can I take away a privilege that I've already given them? That way the basics are still met. They're still going to bed at 8:00. They can't go home to their other parent and say, mom puts me to bed at 7:30. I had to go to bed at 8. I didn't get to earn my extra privilege of 8:15. And then it's like, stop and think about the consequence has to meet the crime. Like I can't be extreme because then that carries over to when they leave, they're pissed, they're disappointed, they're sad. And they're talking negative about me. And I know from the other side is not going to be like, oh, don't talk about your mom that way. Because they're going to just say, oh, yeah, I told you your mom was that way. Absolutely. Your mom is out of control. Your mom's a bitch. Your mom's controlling, whatever it is. So be mindful of the discipline you're implementing. So for me, it's a reward system that the rewards get taken away, not an actual punishment given. Now, illegal activity, breaking the law. Okay, that's a different conversation. But I'm talking about the petty little shit that our kids do. The fight, the argument, the not picking up, the disrespect of like, I'll do that later. And you're like, what'd you just say to me? So implement a reward system and then take away the reward slowly in small increments. The other thing that I implemented with my kids' very young age was having them do something from a chore chart. So I would put a chore chart on the fridge. These were things that not everyday things. These were things like, wipe the baseboards down, wipe the windowsills off, sweep underneath the kitty litter box, sweep underneath the kitchen table that needs to be done absolutely every single day, probably. Just like things that were weird around the house. Sort socks was one of them. Tidy up the pantry area. Whatever's like random weird shit takes like 2 or 3 minutes to do was on the chore list. And then when they were fighting or arguing or sassing or whatever it was, I would say, go get something off the chore. You got 2 chores. Do 2 chores right now. And they would go and they would do 2 and they'd mark them off. Now, where it got fun was at the end of the week. They didn't get erased till the end of the week. So I had enough that I would get through the whole week. And then at the end of the week, your kids are behaving so well because the shittiest chores are left and they don't want to do the shitty chores. So they will literally behave because they know what's on the chore chart. That if they get in trouble, they're going to be stuck with cleaning out the kitty litter box or something stupid like that. Now, again, I'm saying just go to do 2 chores. Now, if it takes them a half hour, that's on them. For some of these chores, it takes 30 seconds. You just got to go do it. And then you're right back into playing. Again, now I've punished them. I've given them a reprimand. Go do 2 chores and you come back, but you can come back to playing instead of go sit in your room for a half hour. And then I forget and the kid's pissed off at me for another hour. Or I say you're grounded and that ruins the whole fucking weekend and the whole night. Think of short, quick punishments, consequences, whatever it is, rip the privilege away and then move on for the night. We got to shorten up our discipline time frame because we got to work at the rest of the time that we have our kids on building up the fucking relationship. We got to make sure the only thing you have guaranteed is your relationship with your kid because you are working at it. I see a lot of times people saying, I'm dealing with parental alienation. I'm going to tell you, I dealt with it for 15, 16 years at some of the harshest points for my children. And he never beat me. He never broke my kids because even though I didn't know how bad it was till later, I still had a relationship with my kids the whole fucking time. So even though he might have been in their ear with words, I was showing them with action how much I loved them, how much I was consistent with them, how much I could show them in life, how much I could get them to grow as human beings, how much I was going to support them, how much I was going to work on myself to prove to them that I was worthy of their love. Their love languages were met, if not over exceeded every time they saw me. I didn't use the excuse, oh, well, dad's talking bad about me, so there's nothing I can do. Hell yeah, there was plenty I could do because he wasn't going to let up. Therefore, I couldn't let up. I couldn't take a day off. I couldn't punish my kids for 3 days because that fit the fucking narrative. I couldn't be a bitch to my kids for hours on end because that would fit the narrative. I couldn't drink in front of my kids because that would fit the narrative. I couldn't, be lazy and sit on my phone for an hours because that would fit the narrative. I had to show fucking action to counteract all the words they were hearing that were about me, that was negative, that was trying to draw a wedge between me and their love. I had to work my ass off. Could I take a day off? No. Did I? Yeah. Did it hurt me? Yep. Yeah, it did because then his words won. So you can't let up. These are your kids. And now to this day, my 19 and 17-year-old are my ride or dies. They're here all the time. They're spending time with me. They're talking to me. They're sending me text messages every day. Our relationship is solid because I didn't play into the fucking game and do what he was doing. Didn't waste my time and energy talking about him. I didn't need to. He was ruining his relationship with his children on his own. I didn't need to participate in that. And a lot of you are, and you need to stop because let them ruin themselves because they will. Because if you're raising good kids, they're going to see that other parent is talking mad shit. And that's not nice because you're also teaching them at your house, how to treat people and how to be respectful to teachers and other adults and other peers and other human beings. You're teaching them right or wrong. You're teaching them how to talk nice about people. And when people talk bad about other people, how to stick up for them or to say, hey, whoa, I'm not participating in that. You're teaching your kids all the skills over here at your house without even having to mention the other parent. And then slowly but surely, your kids will connect the dots and go, man, this parent I have, they're a piece of shit. All the things they're saying isn't true. And they're trying to draw a wedge between me and this parent. And I don't like it. You participating in those same conversations that the other house is participating in because you feel like you have to defend yourself. You're not defending yourself. You're just playing the same game. And your kids are watching and they're going, damn, I thought mom was the safe one. I thought mom would not talk shit. I thought mom wouldn't do what dad's doing. And role reverse that if you need to. Because it happens both ways. Parental alienation is insecurity coming out in aggressiveness. So you really need to make the time to figure out what are your priorities in your household and start implementing them. If your relationship with your kid is a priority, how are you showcasing that? Are you working on your discipline structure? Are you making it better for your kids in 2024? Are you being more grounded with yourself and have self-recognition that you are a hot mess and you need to get some help and you need to get into the next chapter and learn some more skills? What are you doing as a priority in your household to show your kids that all the shit that's being said about you at the other house isn't true? What are you showing them? Not what are you saying? What are you showing them? Because if you're saying stuff to them, you're playing the same fucking game and your kids are listening to the adults fucking jap in their ear. They really are. As kids that will tell you that, sometimes they just wanted to come to my house and be silent and just play and not tell about the weekend and not talk about the weekend because all that would do is be exhausting because they had nothing positive to say because it was all time negative about mom the whole time and they didn't want to hurt my feelings. So sometimes when your kids don't want to tell you things about a weekend or about a visit, it's because they have nothing nice to say because that's what you've been teaching them. Is if you have nothing nice to say nothing at all. And so they're like, "Mom, please stop asking me because all I'm going to do is hurt your feelings." Because I don't want to lie to you, but I also don't want to tell you that I've been talking bad about you because I had to survive that other house. So please stop asking me because nothing positive came from this weekend. I just want to be home and I want to fucking relax and I want to chill out. Stop taking offense to the fact that I don't want to talk about it. Those were conversations my kids had with me in their late teens before they left. So, this course coming out, it'll be shit like that. So, if that resonated with you, this is the course for you. And again, I have vowed that I'm just going to keep adding to it as the years go on. When I come across a really cool thing, I'm going to add it. And then I'll send you an email and say, "Hey, you got another video in the course." But right now, I believe there's close to 9 to 10 hours. I want to say 10. I want to say 10 hours worth of content. If you are dealing with somebody that is not nice to you, is not talking great about you in front of your children, is mistreating you, is really trying to isolate you away from your kids or bother you all the time, this is the course for you. Because I know you want to co-parent, but what you have to realize is you're stuck with parallel because you have somebody that doesn't want to work with you. Co-parenting takes two, parallel only takes one. So in these video series inside this course, there is all kinds of shit about how to survive with high conflict. Okay. And you can you guys, all you gotta do is go to my link. It's all right there. There's a wait list out for it right now. And it's going to just be incredible. It's going to be incredible. Okay. It's going to be helpful. Just go to Samantha Boss, go to my link, wherever you're at right now, go to my link. I can try to pull it up right now on mine and then I'll put it in the comment section. But this is something I've been wanting to do for, gosh, a hot fucking minute. And it is without a doubt, it's the ugly truth of co-parenting.com. That's what it's called. The ugly truth of co-parenting.com. So I just put it in the comment section. Jump on that wait list and just take advantage of getting the emails about it. And if you got to wait till after the holidays, wait till after the holidays, and wrap that up. But I want you to think about what are your priorities for 2024? How are you going to make it real? How are you going to implement? What kind of things are you going to establish for your kids for routine and reward system? If you need ideas on that, get inside the next chapter because we're really going to dive into that next week. We really started last week on yesterday on Monday, talking about household, how to get your household in order. And then Wednesday for the dads, we're doing the same thing. And this is for men and women. I made sure in this course that I talked about both, that I split it down the middle and just kind of said parents the whole time. So it's for both because I know there's high conflict moms out there, just like there's high conflict dads. So take advantage of that, you guys. Let me know in the comment section some things with high conflict, like Sam, I hope in the course it has this, because if it doesn't, I'll make a video about it and just add it to it. So go ahead and put in the comment section if you lasted this long with letting me know what you think should be in the course about high conflict. Like, for example, there's stuff in there about parent-teacher conferences, going to sporting events, doctor's appointments, talking to teachers, all that kind of stuff is in there. So if there's an event that happens in your life that you're struggling with how to deal with your high conflict co-parent, let me know. All right. You guys have a good holiday if I don't see you, but anytime sooner, but I'll be back in here because I always do.